I started sleeping with the lights on after the fourth night. Not because I was scared of the dark, because the dark had started responding. It began after we moved into the house, a small place, old but clean. The kind of house real estate agents describe as quiet. That word should be a warning, by the way. Quiet places listen better. My wife, Alina, loved it instantly. Said it felt safe. Said it felt like somewhere we could finally breathe. I didn't feel that. On the first night, while we were unpacking, I heard a sound from upstairs. A soft, hollow thump, like someone shifting their weight on a mattress. Alina laughed it off. Probably the house settling. Houses settle. I know that. They don't pace. The second night, I woke up at 2:11 a.m. for no reason. My mouth was dry. My heart was racing like it had been running without me. Alina wasn't beside me. I found her standing in the hallway, facing the wall. "Alina?" I whispered. She didn't move. Her head was tilted slightly, like she was listening to something inside the wall. When she finally turned toward me, her eyes looked unfocused, like she hadn't fully arrived yet. "Did you hear it?" she asked. "Hear what?" She frowned. "Never mind." She went back to bed and fell asleep instantly. I didn't. On the third night, I heard breathing. Not mine, not Alina's. Slow, patient, coming from the corner of our bedroom. I held my breath. The breathing continued. When I turned on the lamp, it stopped. The corner was empty. I didn't wake Alina. I didn't want to be that person yet. By the fourth night, the house had learned us. It knew when we slept. It knew when we were awake. And it knew when only one of us was paying attention. I heard footsteps above the ceiling while I brushed my teeth. Bare feet, soft soles against wood. Back and forth, back and forth. I asked Alina if she'd been upstairs. She looked confused. "We don't have an upstairs." She was right. That was when I started keeping the lights on. The house didn't like that. Things began to move. Not dramatically. Nothing that would make a good story if I told someone. A chair pulled out just a little too far. A door that refused to stay closed. Our bedroom mirror slowly turning during the night until it faced the bed. Alina said I was stressed. Said moving had messed with my sleep. Then she stopped saying anything at all. She became quieter, slower. Sometimes I'd find her standing in a doorway, just standing there, staring into the room like she was waiting for permission to enter. One evening I came home early and heard her talking, laughing. I stood outside the front door and listened. "There's no room," she said softly. "Not yet." I know you're tired. I'll make space." I opened the door. The house went silent. Alina was alone in the living room. No phone, no TV, no explanation. That night, I dreamed of walls breathing. I woke up scratching my chest, convinced something was pressing against me. When I looked down, I saw handprints on my skin. Small, pale, like fingers that had never seen sunlight. I screamed. Alina sat up calmly. "It doesn't like when you panic," she said. I stared at her. "What doesn't like it?" She hesitated, then smiled, a thin smile that didn't reach her eyes. The house. That was the first time she said it out loud. After that, things escalated quickly. The house stopped pretending. Doors locked on their own. Rooms felt smaller every morning, like the walls were inching closer while we slept. The air grew heavy, wet. One night, I woke up unable to move. Sleep paralysis, I thought. That's what you tell yourself. But I could feel the mattress dip beside me. Something lay down next to me. It didn't touch me. It didn't need to. I could feel its attention, pressing against my ribs, squeezing my lungs. Alina's voice came from the darkness. "See," she whispered. "It fits now." In the morning, she told me the truth. The house was empty when we moved in, but it wasn't vacant. It was hungry. It had been for a long time, and it had chosen her first. Whispered to her when she slept, promised safety, promised belonging. "All it needs," she said gently, "is space." I tried to leave. The front door wouldn't open. The windows wouldn't break. My phone had no signal, but sometimes it vibrated anyway. Blank screen, cold glass. That night, the house took its first bite. The hallway shortened. I watched it happen. Watched the walls slide inward like jaws closing. The guest room disappeared completely. Just gone. Like it had never existed. Alina watched with pride. "It's working," she said. "It's finally full." I begged her. I screamed. I promised anything. She hugged me. "I'm sorry," she said, "but you take up too much room." The walls moved while I slept. I woke up in darkness, tight darkness. I couldn't stretch my arms, couldn't turn my head. Wood pressed against my face, against my chest. I was inside the house, not a room, inside it. I can still hear Alina sometimes, her footsteps moving freely above me. I can hear new footsteps now too, lighter ones, visitors. The house is quiet again, satisfied. And every night, as it settles around me, I feel it listening and waiting for the next one. I didn't hear my daughter scream. That's what haunts me most. People think the worst part of losing a child is the moment they die. They're wrong. The worst part is realizing how many moments you missed while they were still alive. Mina was 6. She had a habit of humming to herself when she was scared. Soft, tuneless little sounds, like she was afraid silence might notice her. The night she disappeared, I was downstairs watching television. Some stupid show I don't even remember now. My wife was working late. Mina had gone upstairs to sleep. At least, I thought she had. Around midnight, the power flickered. Just once. Enough to reset the clock on the microwave. I remember being annoyed. I remember thinking I should check on her. I didn't. I fell asleep on the couch. When I woke up, the house felt wrong. Not messy, not loud, just emptied. Like the air had been drained and replaced with something colder. "Mina?" I called. No answer. Her bedroom door was open, the bed untouched. The window cracked open just enough to let the curtains breathe in and out. The police said she must have wandered off. They always say that first. It makes everything easier. They searched the neighborhood, the woods, the creek behind the houses. Days turned into weeks, weeks into silence. My wife stopped speaking after the 3rd month. I stayed in the house. People asked why. I told them it was hope, that if Mina came back, she'd know where to find me. That was a lie. The truth was simpler. Something in the house didn't want me to leave. It started with sounds, scratching in the walls at night. Slow, careful, like fingers learning their way around bones. I called an exterminator. He found nothing, still charged me. Then came the humming, soft, tuneless, from Mina's room. The first time I heard it, I froze on the stairs. My body refused to believe what my ears already knew. "Mina?" I whispered. The humming stopped. I stood there for an hour, convincing myself grief was playing tricks on me. It happened again the next night, louder this time, closer. I went into a room. The air smelled damp, not rot, something worse, something that had been wet for a very long time. Her closet door was slightly open. The humming came from inside. I should have run. Instead, I spoke. "You can come out," I said, my voice breaking. "You're not in trouble." The humming paused, then resumed. Wrong now, slower, mocking. I opened the closet. It wasn't my daughter. It was tall, bent in ways people aren't meant to bend. Its skin hung loose, like it had been worn before and discarded. Its face was close, too close to hers, like someone had tried to remember a child and failed. Its mouth opened. It hummed. I stumbled back, screaming. It didn't chase me. That was the worst part. It just watched. The next morning, the police found me on the front lawn, babbling. They took me in for questioning, again, asked the same questions, again. I didn't tell them about the thing in the closet, because that night, when they let me go, the closet was empty. The humming moved. Now it came from the walls, the ceiling, sometimes right behind my ear when I lay in bed. One night, it spoke. "Daddy?" I sobbed into my pillow. "I was scared," it whispered. "I hummed. You didn't come." The words weren't angry. They were factual. I stopped sleeping after that, stopped eating. I waited. On the 7th night, it stood at the foot of my bed. Up close, I could see the seams, where it had stretched itself into her shape, where fingers had pressed too hard, leaving dents that never filled back in. "Why didn't you come?" it asked. "I didn't hear you," I whispered. It tilted its head. I was very quiet. It climbed onto the bed. The mattress sank under its weight, too heavy for a child. "I learned to hum louder," it said, "but only for you." Its hand touched my chest, cold, wet. "Now you can hear me forever." The police found me 3 days later, dead in my bed. Heart stopped. No signs of struggle. Just one strange detail in the report. They said I was humming, softly, tuneless, like I was scared of the silence. If you are listening to this inside your home, stop walking and stand still. The house notices movement. I learned that too late. The night it started, I was alone. Not the comforting kind of alone, the kind where the silence feels arranged, like it's been waiting for you to catch up. The house was my childhood home. After my mother's funeral, I came back to sell it. That was the plan. 1 week. Pack, clean, leave. I told myself memories couldn't hurt me if I stayed busy. The first sound came at 1:12 a.m. Not a bang, not a creak. A breath. Right behind my bedroom door. I held my own breath and listened. The sound continued. Slow, deliberate inhaling. Like someone learning how lungs work for the first time. I opened the door. The hallway was empty. But the air was warmer there. Stale. Used. I slept with the light on. The next day, I noticed something small and wrong. Family photos I'd taken down were back on the wall. Not randomly, in order, oldest to newest, ending with a photo I didn't remember taking. It was me, asleep on the couch, taken from above. I didn't leave. That was my second mistake. That night, the house tested me. The floorboards began to pop one by one, not from expansion, from pressure, like weight being slowly shifted from room to room. The sound stopped outside my bedroom. Then the handle turned, not violently, carefully, respectfully. I didn't lock the door. I wanted to hear it. The handle stopped turning. Something on the other side exhaled, disappointed. From the wall above my bed, a voice whispered, "Too soon." The next morning, my phone showed step count notifications. I hadn't moved. But according to my phone, I'd walked all night, back and forth, room to room, thousands of steps. I checked the house cameras, old ones my father had installed years ago. At 2:03 a.m., I watched myself leave the bedroom. At 2:04, I watched myself stand in the hallway, facing the wall. At 2:05, my body turned its head sharply toward the camera and smiled. I threw the phone across the room. That night, the house stopped being subtle. The walls began to whisper names, not all at once, one at a time, slowly, as if tasting them. My name came last. I ran for the front door. It opened easily, too easily. Outside was wrong. The porch led to another hallway. Same wallpaper, same smell, same light bulb flickering in the same corner. I slammed the door shut behind me. The house shuddered. The voice returned, closer now, deeper. Not from the walls, from the ceiling. "You always came back," it said, "even when you shouldn't have." The lights went out. Something heavy dropped onto the floor behind me. I felt the vibration through my feet. I didn't turn around. I heard it stand. I heard it learning how tall it was. I heard bones adjusting, joints popping, breath filling a chest that hadn't been used in years. "Your mother stayed," it said. "Your father screamed." Cold fingers wrapped around my wrist. I finally looked. It wore my face. Not perfectly, like it had been memorized in pieces. Eyes slightly too far apart. smile stretched where it shouldn't be. Behind it, the walls were moving inward, not collapsing, closing. I screamed for help. The house laughed, not loud, but everywhere. The last thing I felt was pressure, from all sides, like being hugged by something that doesn't understand mercy. They found the house empty weeks later. No signs of struggle, no bodies. Just one thing scratched into the inside of the front door, deep enough to bleed the wood. Please don't knock. We're already home. And if you're still listening, if you're inside your house right now, listen closely, because it just heard you finish.